Hi, welcome to the podcast. Exploration of students' constitutional rights on campus. So, for a few reasons, it's essential that the kids on school campuses understand the constitutional right. Im- Important Supreme Court rulings like Tinker versus Des Moines Independent Community School District, which held that the students do not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or express at the schoolhouse gate have historically influenced the development of these rights, a legal framework that guides how schools must strike a balance between upholding order and protecting individual rights is provided by this decision and others like New Jersey versus TLO pertaining to search and seizure. From a constitutional standpoint, the Fourth Amendment deals with matters pertaining to searches and seizures in educational settings. While the First Amendment is crucial in establishing students' rights about free expression by being aware of these principles, administrators and teachers may develop rules that uphold students' rights and guarantee a secure learning environment. A deeper examination of this subject can shed the light on how these legal precepts are implemented in partial situations, specifically in a view of current problems like bullying, social media use, and student mental health issues. I intend to learn how effectively advocate for students' rights while also acknowledge the obligations that accompany such rights by comprehending historical background and contemporary legal norms. Having this expertise will be crucial for my future work as an administrator or instructor, and I will be able to create an atmosphere where the students feel free to express themselves while following the rules because I am knowledgeable about the constitutional rights of kids. Maintaining this equilibrium is crucial for fostering a supportive learning environment. The next topic is influence of school setting on applicable laws. The laws permitting to students and their rights are greatly influenced by the sort of school setting, whether it be public, charter, private, or virtual, because they receive financing and they are held accountable to the public. Public school districts must strictly abide by the state federal regulations pertaining to the education and civil rights. Charter school, on the other hand, might have more latitude in how they are run, but they are still subject to the rules that are outlined in the charter agreements. Since private schools are not supported by public funds, they are subject to district laws and therefore free to set their own rules for students' behavior and punishment. Title X and other federal rules still require them to abide by broad anti-discriminatory laws, though, because they are friendly, com- frequently combined aspects to the public and private sectors while maintaining the privacy and data implications of technology. Virtual schools are pose special issues. Current rules pertaining those students engaged in protecting in digital contexts needed to be reevaluated and considered to the growing population of online education. I want to learn how different educational environments affect students' experiences and legal rights by exploring these variations among school types, because it will guide my approach to policy formulation within many educational contexts. This knowledge is essential for my future profession. It is evident from reading peers' choices on these subjects that is a great deal of interest in learning how legal framework influence educational expertise, while some contend that more strengthened rules are required to keep schools in order. Others support more relaxed policies that put the authority of the students first, the autonomy of the students first. This differing viewpoints draw attention to current disputes over educational law, such as arguments between censorship and free of speech, and emphasize the significance of having educated conversations about the ramifications of policy. So, a current issue is the students' constitutional rights regarding social media posts. In the relationship between students, constitutional rights, and social media uses has grown in importance in schools in recent years. Complex legal issues regarding freedom of speech have arisen because to the growth of digital communication, particularly when kids express themselves online after school. This conversation will examine the opposing views while citing pertinent court rulings and instances. One side of protection of students' speech. Students have the freedom to express themselves, including on social media, according to proponents of the student speech protection. The First Amendment, which protects the freedom of speech, serves the foundation for this viewpoint. The U.S. Supreme Court historic decision in Tinker versus Des Moines independent community school district, which held the students do not shed their constitutional right of freedom of speech or expression of the schoolhouse gate lends credence of this viewpoint. This decision establishes that unless significantly disrupts the educational process, the student expression is protected. The Supreme Court further upheld this idea in recent cases such as Mahogany Area School District versus BL in 2021, where they decided that the student of campus speech, in this case, a snapshot post expressing annoyment at not being selected for the varsity cheerleading squad, was protected by the First Amendment. The court established a precedent for how colleges respond to student posts on social media outside of school hours by emphasizing that they have no power to control the speech that occurs off campus. Second side, or side two, a school authority and student safety. On the other hand, the detractors contain that the schools need to continue to have control over the student conduct and guarantee a secure learning environment. They argue that some social media speech can result into threats, harassment, or bullying of other students or staff, which schools should be stepped in. For example, schools may contend that they have an obligation to take action to safeguard for their community when their students post threatening remarks or engage in cyberbullying. This point of view is demonstrated by the 2008 case Donninger versus Nafor, which raises concerns about the extent to which schools can control off-campus speech without violating constitutional rights, even though it ultimately ruled in favor of the school district's right to discipline the student for making despairing remarks about schools officials online. Legal decisions and pending cases. As new instances came up, the legal environment around this maker keeps changing. Apart from Tinker and Mahoney, and the noteworthy instances include of So Kawasaki versus Berkeley County Schools in 2011, a school decision to suspend a student making a MySpace profile that made disparaging remarks about another student was affirmed by the Fourth Circuit. BL of 2021, a previously stated judgment upheld off-campus speech protections, pending cases involving TikTok and Instagram posts of school staff activities presented being consistently by several lower courts, which may have an impact of further decisions regarding student expression. Evaluation and personal stance. As an educational leader assessing this matter, I think it is essential to find a balance between safeguarding students' safety in the classroom and defending their rights. Although I agree with Tinker and Mahogany, strongly defense of free expression. I also acknowledge that the negative conduct like cyberbullying can damage people and disrupt the learning environment. Therefore, my position is that the school should establish explicit regulations addressing cyberbullying and threats made through social media platforms, even though the students should be given a great deal of freedom in how they express themselves online, while education should always take precedent over punishment with these regulations. Actions and endanger the safety and actions that endanger the safety of the well-being of others must also have consequences. This well-rounded strategy acknowledges the reality of the contemporary student communication dynamics while upholding constitutional rights.